So there's a lot of information that we're able to store on the GitHub website. I mentioned it to you when we were setting up our features. There are wikis and issues and pages and a number of other things that we have access to. When we use these, we can go ahead and take a look at, say, the issues. If you want to track your work, bugs, or stories, or whatever, inside of GitHub, you do that by creating an issue. Since we have none, I can click this button here. If we did, we'd have a list, and I could click this one here. Once we have this, you can name these however you like. Use a style that uses more of a story notation, use tasks, whatever your workflow calls for. Just go ahead and create them. So I might have this story that I set up that sort of describes a bug. In this one, it's clearly a bug, so I'm going to go ahead and add a label. We're going to say it's a bug. Currently no one's assigned to it, but we could pick someone. We have no milestones that this is associated with, so we're going to go ahead and just submit the issue. Once we've done that, you'll notice it has this label associated with it. There are a few things we could do at this point. We could edit it. We could write a comment to it, so I could say, I could maybe follow up asking for more information. And I can click comment, and it's going to go ahead and put that in there. And now, someone else can get back to that and hopefully get me some more information. I could of course comment myself, or I could log in with another user account that is a collaborator on this project and ask for it. If this were a public project, we could also go ahead and do issues on that one also, if they were allowed. Some other things that we can do. If I am watching this, I am getting emails about this. Because we're getting emails on this, we can actually respond to those emails. Now, since I didn't set up an email account, and I'm not going to jump into one on my own, I'm not going to show you that, but you can, I promise you, just reply to that email, and it will end up here as a comment on this issue. So you can mess with comments that way. So if you want to respond back with information, you don't have to log into GitHub. You can just respond to the email by just hitting the reply button on the automated emails that you get. And that's because I'm watching this post. If I were to assign this to myself, now you'll see that my user account is assigned. That would also cause that user account, as long as it were configured with the notifications, to get that email. At this point, I could, since I said in this comment here, where did you see it? I could say now that it's gone, and I can't find it anymore. At this point, I could close and comment. So I leave a comment and close out the issue. So now it's done, and there's nothing to worry about. You could also use labels. You could use them for your workflow. You could use them for all kinds of things. You can add additional labels if you need to. So you'll notice that there are a few in here already that will cover sort of how things work. So if someone creates an issue for you, you might tag that one as a question or as a feature enhancement. And if someone puts one in that you find isn't really there, you could tag it as invalid. So this one, I said, it turns out that it wasn't actually spelled correctly and maybe something weird was going on. But either way, we're going to go ahead and mark it as invalid because it doesn't matter. It also might be that, well, this person was looking for British English and we had US English, and so we might say, won't fix on this or something like that because, well, we're not going to change it from one to the other. And so there are a number of ways that we can use labels to take care of a lot of the stuff we're working on. The next thing we're going to take a look at are the wikis. So if we open up our wiki, you'll see that we don't have any pages yet. That's because we just started it. If we create a page, it works like any other wiki page. So once we've got some content in there, we can go ahead and say a message, save. It works like any other wiki. In this case, we're using Markdown as the editing language for it. That's just because Markdown is the default markup language for GitHub. If we go ahead and edit the page, this works just like it does in any other wiki, and we can go ahead and just make any change that we want here. So once we do this, we can go ahead and make our changes just like we would in any other wiki, and it's modifying it, and it's keeping our history. So you'll see that this is modifying all by itself as a wiki page. And that's pretty much how the wikis work here. Let's go ahead and view this. Last, but certainly not least, I'd like to take a minute to talk about pages. We discussed them a little bit before, but pages are a really cool thing in GitHub. It's an easy way for you to get set up with some site pages that are the public face of your project, and you can set them up as HTML pages. Let's go ahead and take a look at those. For now, we're going to go into the settings, and you'll see automatic page generator. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Here you can see I've got a project name, and this is sort of a big welcome page for me. I'm going to go ahead and continue to layouts. We're just going to keep this. It's not really our page, but you can see they've got some content, and it's going to make for a good demo. So once we've got this, we need to go ahead and choose what layout we want. I'm going to go ahead and pick Hack, which has this nice green view to it, but I'm going to go ahead and click on this one, and that's going to go ahead and publish it. Now this did a couple of things for us. First off, you'll notice this message up here is telling us that it did create the project, so if we want to view it, we'd go to this page. It's not going to be there just yet because it's going to take 10 minutes. If we click on it now, we're going to get a 404 right there. But if we take a look at our source control, we have a new branch. We have this gh-pages branch. If we take a look at this, you'll see that this has nothing to do with our initial branch. GitHub actually went ahead and created this for us. This gh-pages is a special GitHub branch that's created specifically for the pages. This is what's getting created by this github.io URL. So this URL is looking at our repository and using this. The 10 minutes to activate is how long it takes for it to set up a website for us that's going to be pointed at this location. You can read a lot more about the pages here. I'm just going to cover it briefly just to show you how to get it set up. I'd recommend that for your starting project, just so you have something, you go ahead and use the automatic creation tool, but you could just set this up yourself by creating your own branch and putting the files there. And after you set this up once, you can easily go in there again and change all these files and make it however you want. Through the magic of Pluralsight Video, you don't have to wait the 10 minutes for that page to come up, because I've just skipped that time. It's now up. You can see here, our web page is up. I can refresh it over and over so you can see that it really is there. We now have access to download our project as a zip, download as a tar.gz, or view it on GitHub. And this page is sort of a welcome page. We didn't really have our information up here. This is just the default that comes with the pages. But we can go ahead and put our content in here, and this gets us started with some pages. Since it's just an HTML site, we can go ahead and do this like any other HTML site and just include more files and link to them, and it'll all work just fine. So that's how you get yourself set up with some GitHub pages.